Hi, Audrey. I don't have any questions about the course. I'm just really excited to get started. My thoughts just pertain to this being like another piece of the puzzle of interpreting, and I'm really grateful that the program now is so extensive and detailed, because when I did the networking portion of the practicum and interviewed people in Idaho, people that had been in the field for 20 plus years talked about how they didn't have as many resources, or like they had a very small fraction of the resources and training available to them back then. So I'm excited, and what I'm looking forward to most, honestly, is the way that you teach. It's very refreshing. I love how much like time I can tell that you put into creating the course. You and Kiara are like my favorite professors for interpreting, and I found myself like during Kiara's course saying like, oh my gosh, this is so time consuming, but then realizing how grateful I was for all the practice and the repetition and the exposure to so many different things, because that's how we remember, is exposure and repetition. So I really appreciate how you also form your classes that way, where we're required to put time in more than other courses, and it's super helpful, I think, for all of our memories. Any concerns with the structure? So I'm not really concerned. I was thinking about how you're going to grade the reflections and have a running total of like, if we get full points, 3 out of 30, and then 6 out of 30, then 9 out of 30, and how it would look like we have an F in our reflections all the way up until, I guess midway we'd be at 50% of our overall goal. And so I was thinking that might skew our overall percentage. So as we like open up and check our overall grade throughout the term, since the points are not like, some courses do their points at like 1,000 total and everything is hundreds of points, but because it's such a small margin, it might skew our grade and look like we have a lower grade throughout the whole course up until the very end. So I would keep that in mind, and I would know that that's a thing, but I'm wondering if there's going to be other students that are like, how come it looks like I have a C when I've done all my work, and then lastly, the benefits of introspection and being aware of yourself as an interpreter. I actually think something that's really exciting is to have the chance to feel that like offense, or feel triggered, most people would say, but to like feel an offense come up. And then what I would do personally is to pray and go to God and like, hey, why ask, the Lord to reveal why I'm offended by something. If it's something that seemingly has nothing to do with my life, I would ask and pray and journal and seek to find out what has caused me to be offended by that. And then ask God to reveal if there's something that hurt me in the past that I need to release and let go of, or if there's something or someone that hurt me or I felt like caused injustice either in my own life or my family or my friends or in the government or in the country, then I could have an opportunity to forgive that person and release myself from being like the judge of that person, and then heal, receive the healing and not hold on to that grudge or hold on to that unforgiveness anymore. And then be able to share with other interpreters, not necessarily the spiritual, religious, aspect, if they don't have that personal belief, but just share that process, because I know I've heard over and over how much interpreters are all about sharing resources and helping each other learn and grow and develop as they go about their career. So sharing like, hey, I was in this setting and then I noticed inside myself that this was coming up, and I was reflecting and realized that it was connected to this. So maybe there's other people who might be in a similar setting that feel some, anger or whatever, unpleasant response happening, and then maybe they could take a look and say, oh, is it possibly connected to this thing? And then whatever they do to choose to let that go and release that, and then they won't have to struggle with that anymore. So that is I think the best benefit overall is you get to actually grow personally as you're going about your career, as well as helping other people. So that's all. I'll see you later. Sorry that was so long.